This is what's left of an iconic Mark 1 Ford Escort RS2000. As most of you will know, this car came to us as a bare shell. As with many of our rebuilds, it started off with just the usual areas to repair, but quickly ended up being an extensive rebuild as soon as the customer realised the extent of the rust. Since then, it's slowly been transformed into a solid, usable shell. Right, so after the last video, some of you will have seen that we uncovered a lot of holes. There's some at the back, some here, there's something going off here. There's a big hole here, round here. Again, there's something going off here. We've had to chisel this off. The inside of this chassis rail doesn't look good, the centre chassis rail, and we've got exactly the same going off on the other side, if not a little bit worse. So the customers agreed with us, it does deserve new chassis rails on it. Now we've replaced the front, we've just got the centre section that goes to here and this back section to do. We're going to do it the easy way. We're going to keep the strength in the car by leaving, even though this floor pan's bad, we're going to leave this bad floor pan in. We're going to chisel all the chassis section out right up to the front. We're going to replace probably the back, then the middle sections. We'll see how it goes. And we're going to weld it up to here because all this back part is staying in. It's all good there. It's only the floor pan from this line across here and the centre, because we're retaining the transmission tunnel as well, is coming out. So once we've got the chassis rail in place, what we're then going to do is we're going to chisel the floor out, pop the floor in from the inside, and then do the same thing again on the opposite side. That way we're going to retain all the strength in this car as we're doing it. So that's this side of the chassis rail out. Now, it was an absolute pain, but it's left all the structure in, so we can put this chassis rail over the top. Now, you can see there's a lot of rust underneath there. We do need to clean that up and get that all treated before we put the chassis rail in. But we've also got this section here. Now, all this half of the floor pan, we're going to leave the transmission tunnel in, but up to here, we're going to be cutting this out. Now, we've got a seat support here, which we don't want to cut through, because all we're going to do is we're just going to cut across here and get this section out so that the floor pan's out of the way of a chassis rail. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut across here. We're going to leave the little bit on that's actually on the seat rail, and we're going to cut the rest of it out. We're going to cut short of here as well, because the rear tub underlaps the floor pan that we're going to cut out, and then we're just going to grind that little bit off. So we're going to basically remove everything here but leave all the structure in place so that we can fit the rear chassis rail in and weld it up to here, because all this back part is permanent. And this section that we're going to be cutting out later, we'll leave the chassis rail floating and we'll fit the front part. And then from there, we'll cut the floor pan out and we'll fit the floor pan from the inside. Right, so at this point, what we should be doing is drilling this chassis rail and just welding it to the car up to here, as all this floor section is coming out, but leaving all the rest of this up to here floating. Obviously welding it onto the front chassis rail, so this is floating, that's welded in. The only issue is these are aftermarket panels and this is original body shell, and they don't match, they never do. So what we've got to do, because this has been bent in such a way that it's way too strong for us, it's been press bent, for way too strong for us to actually bend it into shape now, what we've got to do is we've got to make some slits in it, so, because it's way too far away from here, to push that section back, and here needs pulling out. So we're probably going to make 3 slits, weld them up so that that section's closer, but this section, as you can see, it's actually protruding into the car, so it's way too far bent that way. Is that a word? Far bent? Far bent will do. It's way too far bent that way. So that's the first thing we have to do, get everything offered up, tack it all in, and see if we can get it positioned correctly before we weld it up. Well, that's it for this video, guys. The chassis rail on this side is on, and it is really nice and strong. It's buttoned up at the back, it's buttoned up at the front, and it's floating in the center, but still very, very sturdy and waiting for that floor pan on this side. All we've got to do now is exactly the same on the other side, but that's for another video. If you've enjoyed the video, leave us a like and smash that subscribe button. In the meantime, I'm going to stay nice and warm in my flex jacket. We will catch you in the next one.